Hey, broken salespeople. So don't get too worried, but I want to get a little political. That's what's happening on this episode of the Broken Salespeople podcast. Hey, broken salespeople. Welcome to the workshop. My name is Red Stafstrom, and we are here to help you fix your broken sales skills. So I'm going to talk politics a little today. Don't worry, not the kind of politics most of us are used to. I don't have blank news commentator under my title at any point and never will. I want to talk about political ideology, the ideas behind it, big capital letter ideas, not people. So I'm going to start with a story. Then I'm going to relate it to a handful of business books that I know. And then I'm going to tell you how you should use it in your day-to-day sales career. So we're going to start kind of medium picture, big picture, small picture. You'll see what I mean in a minute. So medium picture, I'm going to tell you a story I heard last November. Story came from a guy by the name of Bo of the Fifth Column, or that's what he calls his YouTube channel. I highly recommend you take a look at it. Last November, Bo told a story about a contractor he knew. And for the purposes of this, I'm going to call him John. John is the American dream. Rags to riches, nothing to something. He started swinging a hammer on job sites, $7 an hour. Then hard work, couple of risks, a little bit of luck. Now he's a millionaire. $80,000 pickup truck, house on the beach in Florida, doing very well for himself. See, John is a general contractor who specializes in subdivision homes, the same home over again. In that realm, in those subdivisions, there are early completion bonuses. And John's company in particular is very good at capitalizing on those and getting them and finishing the job ahead of schedule and under budget. And by doing that, he gets rewarded from the company that contracts him with extra money. So another contractor came to John and said, "Hey, how is it that you always get that early completion bonus? How come you guys seem to be finishing a job twice as fast as my guys do?" And John kind of laughed. He's like, "Well, I share the early completion bonus with my guys." See, John is a leader. He's not a boss, he's a leader. Even though he's technically above his people on the totem pole, he's there to do the dirty work and share the spoils with them. Literally once a week, John is with his people swinging a hammer. He's there willing to do the dirty work and be seen with his guys. Now, if you were to ask him, he'd probably say, "Well, I do it so I get to know my people and so that the quality is up to my standard and not theirs." Perfectly fine. But you start to realize that him being seen as a leader creates the best results. Now, the reason I mention this is because last November, Florida passed a law that their state minimum wage over the next few years is going to be going up. It's going to go to $15 an hour. So the other contractor went back to John and said, "Hey, are you still going to pay your people $15 an hour now that you have to pay them $15 an hour? Or are you still going to give them that early completion bonus?" John's response, "Well, there's nobody on my crew that makes less than 19. So Bo continues, and he says a phrase that's really stuck with me the last 4 or 5 months. The best capitalists behave like socialists. The best capitalists behave like socialists. See, some of you guys are fighting that, but I want to give you some real world examples, big picture stuff. I mean, we just talked about the medium side. Let's talk big picture. My favorite example, Costco. Every financial analyst in the world goes to Costco and says, "Well, you need to stop paying your people so well. You could get people for less money per hour. There's no reason for you to pay your cashiers $20 an hour when you could get cashiers for 11. Costco nods, and they do what they want to anyway. See, Costco realized something that a lot of businesses don't. The most expensive part of business is turnover. See, back in the day, years and years ago, when businesses gave out pensions and treated their people and gave them medical insurance that covered everything, and they were part of unions that fought for them and engaged in those other worker party socialist ideas, notice what people did? They stayed with their company 20, 30 years. You don't see that much anymore, do you? Workers typically find a job, they stay there for 2 or 3 years, and then on to the next thing. There's not that level of loyalty anymore because we've replaced our socialist leaders with capitalist bosses. They're there to squeeze every penny out rather than think big picture. The problem is that only works for a short period of time. You can only cost cut so much. You need to actually grow. My mother was a cost accountant. So and she also worked HR. She was at a small to medium sized factory, and she was in charge of both HR and accounting. And she said the most expensive part of her business was turnover. I've done some studies into it. See, turnover can cost, depending on the position, between 6 and 24 months of that person's salary. So when you think of that person in Walmart who walked off their job because they quit, 6 months salary in order to retrain them. That manager that decided to go somewhere else, 24 months salary. Costco realized this. Costco realized that if they treat their people right, it saves them in terms of turnover, in terms of them jumping from Target to Walmart to Best Buy. It's better to just keep the people there, keep them loyal, keep them engaged, keep them happy. Share the early completion bonus with them. So how does this matter to you? See, if you're listening to this, you're probably an individual salesperson. You probably aren't managing a huge team of people. You have no control over their salaries. But you do have control over how your people are treated. Start thinking of your customers the way you would think of your employees. Treat them right. And the more you treat them the right way, the more you provide value, provide services and perks to them. That beanbag chair and that ping pong table, provide them with those things, and you'll have to spend a lot less time prospecting. Take the time to treat your people right. Behave like a socialist, not a capitalist. Don't try to penny pinch with your customers. Instead, give them everything. Offer them every piece of value you possibly can. And you won't have to look as often because the people who are working for you, the people you are selling to, they aren't going anywhere. They're your people. And they will follow you wherever you go because they know you, no matter what you're selling, will go out of your way to treat them right. Sell like a socialist, not a capitalist. Help them, and ultimately you'll help yourself. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this episode. It's a little different than I normally do. Please take the time to like, subscribe, review. It all helps the channel out quite a bit. Please, if there's anything else, go to brokensalespeople.com. You could find a ton of free training. You could find a way to get a hold of me there too. And until next time, please go fix yourself.